everybody. High school softball tonight on rivercountrysports.com. It's the Suwannee Bulldogs facing the Fort White Indians. I'm Wayne Luttrell, joined by Mr. Shane Morgan. Shane, Tom Daniels is doing karaoke tonight. I appreciate you coming over here and helping us out on the broadcast.
Wait, karaoke was an option? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, he's karaoke. I think he's at Lake City Country Club.
Lake City Country Club, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you invited me to sit in. Of course, Fort White, a place that's near and dear to my heart, doing a number of sports, football, basketball, baseball. It's my first chance getting to watch the Lady Indians in person, Wayne. So I'm looking forward to an exciting matchup between these two teams.
Should be a good one tonight as Suwannee comes in with a 6-11 record. Fort White 5-9. They seem very evenly matched.
Yeah.
Fort White is 2-3 in road games. Suwannee is 4-5 in home games. When you look at runs for and runs against, Fort White has given up 124 runs. They scored 105 in their contests, and Suwannee has scored 114, giving up 149. The averages, Fort White hitting 352 as a team, and Suwannee 244.
Don't let the Fort White record fool you. We're a very young club over in Fort White. 7th, 8th, 9th graders, sophomores. We have one senior, Taryn Clyatt. We'll talk about her when she comes up at bat. But they just celebrated her senior night last night against Williston, a game that was close for a lot of it. But when they pulled Grace Endurance out of the circle, Williston just kind of blew the game open. But still a lot to look forward to with the future to Lady Indians.
First matchup between these two teams this season. They were scheduled to meet back on March 5th in Fort White, but we had weather that moved in and weren't able to get that game in. So here we go, getting this underway and leading off for the Fort White Indians. Here is Grace Endurance, the pitcher.
Yes, Grace Ann, a young lady, her first year full-time in the circle after Cadence Copton graduated from Fort White.
Gracie Watley, her first pitch is fouled out of play.
Down the third base line.
So Watley, the pitcher. Behind the plate, you got Leighton Starling, Felicity May at first base, Similin Watley at second, Addison Peterson is your shortstop, Maylee Gaby over at third base. Give you the outfield after this pitch. Watley rocks and fires. And swinging a miss there at some high heat.
Yeah, Grace Ann kind of chasing the ball. Was a little bit on the high side, it looked like to me, Wayne.
Markeisha Hunter in left field. Center fielder is Timberlyn May. And over in right field is Jaden Bell. So 0-2 the count. And there's a little dribbler that's got to hurry this throw. Didn't get there in time. I thought the pitcher would come off the mound and handle that. Third base came across, but just too speedy there. It's down the line in a hurry.
Yeah, Grace Ann got down the line in a hurry, and she was able to get there safely. So a nice single to open up the game for the Indians, Lady Indians.
Infield base hit. Now Reese Noblet steps up, the shortstop for Fort White. Yeah, I was looking at the roster. She squares to bunt and lays one down in fair territory, only plays to first base. Nobody covering. Now she got the runner hung up, but she'll get back safely, so everybody's safe.
Wayne, you were exactly right. That was a beautiful bunt to begin with, but whenever they went to make the throw to first base, there was nobody covering the bag there. So we got a bunt for a base hit and a base hit to start the game. So
first baseman, if you're going to charge, you got to have the second baseman slide over and cover that back. First and second, nobody down. Here's Sydney Mills. And she'll pop one up. This is in the infield. Shortstop calling for it and making the catch is Addison Peterson, one away.
That's Peterson. And the first out from the Lady Indians.
So one down, two men aboard, and the cleanup batter now coming to the plate, Peyton Griffiths.
Yeah, she's a sophomore. So we got a sophomore hitting in the fourth slot for the Lady Indians tonight.
That very young team you mentioned, I noticed even some 7th and 8th graders mixed in.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at today. There's a hit down the third base line. Josh Robinson knocked it down as it goes foul.
Yeah, he was going to make a barehanded grab there.
He was, but you're exactly right, Wayne. And you and I were talking to both Coach Robinsons this afternoon when we got here. But the future is bright. They're taking their lumps right now, and yes, it can be frustrating for young kids. But if this team stays together and continues to build, the future can be very bright. They're just a few years removed from going to Claremont in the state championship game.
Well, Fort White in a little bit of a rebuilding mode, but here toward the end of the season, playing some pretty good softball.
Mm-hmm.
Suwannee trying to, get things going here as they enter the playoffs coming up in a week or so.
Yeah.
Baseball playoffs start next week, by the way.
They do. We wrapped up in Fort White. We wrapped up the regular season last night at home.
There's a called strike. If you're listening, we've got a softball and baseball game going on at the same time. So baseball right behind us. The senior night for the boys, and they're taking on Santa Fe as they close out the regular season tonight. They're on a 2-game winning streak, trying to win the third in a row and have a perfect week.
Oh, those Raiders.
A little smack there, but it's going to be foul.
Yeah. Griffith's continuing the battle here in the batter's box tonight, but just we were talking about the youth of this Lady Indians team, and it's just unreal to look up and down the roster. You got 7th and 8th graders playing against 11th and 12th graders, and still, being competitive in games a lot of nights.
Yeah, JV game right before this, and Suwannee winning that. All right, Watley's pitch is high.
Mm-hmm.
So 2-2 now the count.
Still got the 2 runners on base on first and second, 1 out.
Still plenty of room out here. So if you're in the area listening to the stream or watching, come on down. Enjoy the evening. Bring the family. There's a pop fly right side. Should be playable for the second baseman. It is. Nice play by Emily Watley. And 2 down.
And this brings up the one senior on the Lady Indian roster, Taryn Clyatt. Her senior night was last night at Dreamcatcher Field in Fort White, and she got to be celebrated. And she actually does some coaching on the side for an 8U team, and that 8U team was present, and Taryn sent one over the fence last night for her first career home run. So quite a night for her.
Did that for the kids.
Exactly.
Swing and a miss. Boy, took a good cut there.
Yes, she did. I actually first heard that story this morning. I was in Publix, and the lady in the bakery, she was telling me that because it was her daughter was one of the ones that was there. She was telling me the story about it. I was like, I'm going to use that tonight.
Hope she's listening.
I hope she is too.
And that one called ball, so 1-1. And the nice thing about it, if you don't catch it live, you can always go watch it. It'll be archived on the website, River Country Sports.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe to the channel.
Y'all been busy between baseball and softball games, haven't you?
It's been fun. We did 3 middle school games this year for Suwannee Middle School.
Okay.
Like Cameron Concrete.
Mm-hmm.
That was a blast. And, we've done this is our second softball broadcast. We've done the baseball, and then we're planning to do the entire postseason for Suwannee baseball, which starts next week. Pitch high. 3-1.
Taryn very disciplined there in the batter's box for Fort White.
She is waiting for her pitch. Now she's got a hitter's count here at 3-1. So Watley's got to bring it in the strike zone. Let's see what happens here. Oh, that's high.
Yeah, high and outside.
That'll load the bases with Indians. First, second, and third. 2 down in the inning. Layla Alvey now coming to the plate. She's the DP.
She's a designated player, and not to say I've been around Fort White for a while, but I remember when her mom cheered and played softball at Fort White.
You're showing your age, Jane.
I know. Oh, after this pitch, I'll tell you a story about the one time I went and watched her mom play softball.
And Watley brings it in the strike zone there, swinging a miss.
Layla, a 7th grader we talked about, but her mom, Stacy, was on our softball team. And the one night I had a free night from baseball, I'm like, I want to go watch Stacy play softball. And I know there were a few other cheerleaders on there, but Stacy ends up getting a fly ball to the head in the outfield and ends up leaving the game with a concussion.
Oh, my goodness. Down the line, she touches it in foul territory. So 0-2 now.
Yeah.
And Alvey will have to retreat back to the batter's box.
But Layla, one of those, she's been working her way up, little league, up to the varsity level here. I almost at high school, but she's still over at the middle school.
Yeah, but playing here at the varsity level.
Yeah.
So, and she continues to play this sport and continues to improve. Just imagine how she will be when she's up there in sophomore, junior, senior seasons.
I look forward to seeing it.
And takes a pitch there. So,
a little low on that one.
1-2. Good eye. Base is full. Nowhere to put her. This inning started out with a couple of infield singles, first and second, then a couple of flyouts, 2 down. Got a walk. Bases loaded here for Alvey. And up the middle, this could be trouble. Got by the pitcher. Nobody seems to pick it up.
Yeah, it was almost like the ball was rolling in slow motion, Wayne.
I know. And Suwannee thinks they're coming off that. What's the call?
Are they claiming interference?
I don't know.
That's the only thing that I could think that it could be.
And So Coach Gaby checked with the home plate umpire and got permission to go out and talk to the field umpire.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they're looking for an interference call.
He's making the case for it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go his way.
It usually doesn't. But now the two umpires are going to confer.
Maybe you never know once the umpires
So they're
start
saying
conferring.
the runner, I guess, interfering with the fielder's ability to get that ball. Is that the call? Or what he's.
That wasn't what I saw, but.
I see that either. Just waiting to write something in my book.
Right. Well, we actually had an interference call that ended the inning on baseball last night over in Fort White. Went in our favor because the interference was against Gainesville, but I was like you. I was like, what's the call? Somebody talk to me.
Well, I saw the pitcher. Obviously probably should have had that ball, but it got under a glove, and then nobody reacted. So the fielders were thinking it was interference. And Coach went to bat for him, and now the umpire's conferring, and let's see what the call is going to be. It's kind of a long conference here.
They're having a very long conference, so it makes me wonder if maybe this might get overturned. But, the way that I saw it out on the field, watching it right in front of me, was the shortstop kind of had her back to the ball, and the runner going from second to third. And they're going to overturn the call.
Yeah.
That will end the inning.
I'll be doggone. All right. After a half inning to play, Fort White 0, Suwannee coming to bat next on RiverCountrySports.com.
The hunt is on during the Declaration of Deals sales event at Walt's Live Oak Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Go on the ultimate egg hunt for unbeatable savings on cars, Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs. Crack open big savings on select 2025 Ram 1500s with up to $12,000 off MSRP.
People ask me, how do you give such great prices? Easy. Unlike the bunny, we don't hide our deals. That's how.
Walt's Live Oak Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. These deals are Easter Bunny approved.
G&W Site Services is a trusted site preparation and excavating contractor based in Live Oak, serving Suwannee and surrounding counties.
Oh, yeah.
From land clearing to site prep and grade work, to excavation and ponds, to driveways and culverts, material hauling, foundations. Whether you're preparing land for new construction or maybe utilities or draining solutions, give G&W a call. 386-209-4856. Licensed and insured, G&W Site Services. Online at gwsitesservicesllc.com. Suwannee Softball here on River Country Sports, brought to you in part by Waltz Automotive Group, by G&W Site Prep, by Grantham Realty, by Elite Outdoor Buildings, by J&W Automotive, by the Welborn Blueberry Festival, by Van Carpet One, by Farm Bureau Insurance, and by the Suwannee County School District. So kind of a crazy play to hit the top of the first inning, but somehow Suwannee keeps Fort White off the scoreboard.
Yeah, it was an interference call that neither you or I saw out on the field. They've been trying to explain it to Coach Jessica Robinson of Fort White. Josh Robinson, he just finally walked away from the conversation. And but here we are, no score, as the Indians are on the field waiting for Suwannee for their first at bat.
Well, it's like I tried to tell Tom, he tries to call the games from up here. And I said, whatever Blue calls is what it is. We can argue all day long and think he's this and think he's that, but Blue makes the call. We don't have instant replay or challenges or anything of this level.
No, we don't. We do not have any of that. But I tell you what, it is now down to the bottom of the first inning. And so let's see what Suwannee has to offer. The Indians were able to load the bases, but not able to capitalize. They left three stranded.
The Companion Animal Hospital scoreboard showing no score, bottom of the first inning. And by the way, if you have a hound on the ground, Companion Animal Hospital, that's the place to go. If you have an injured pet, maybe you just need a checkup. Whatever the case may be, they're ready for you.
That is a sharp scoreboard. I like that.
Yeah. We appreciate those guys and their involvement this year with River Country and supporting Suwannee High softball and baseball. All right, here we go. Addison Peterson going to lead off for Suwannee, facing Grace Ann Durrance.
Grace Ann, a junior, in the circle for the Lady Indians.
And her first pitch in there, called strike.
Grace Ann gets the start tonight at pitcher. She's been our main pitcher most of the year for Fort White, and she's been putting in the work. Each time she comes out, the coaches see improvement. So excited to see her development.
That one's up high a little bit, so 1-1. I noticed when I look at the stats, a lot of teams just have one. Like we played Madison, they have one pitcher. She's going to pitch as long as she's healthy, she's going to pitch every pitch, every inning. Suwannee and Fort White both with 3 or 4 pitchers that they've been using.
And that's part of that development. There's a nice hit up to the second baseman, and you got to get him out.
Nice defensive play there
Yeah.
for the Fort White Indians.
But yeah, having that was one thing the coaches talked to us about prior to the game, Wayne, before we came on from Fort White, is that development and now having the 3 levels of softball back at middle school, JV, and varsity. So it's something that we haven't had in Fort White for a very long time.
They got to have those feeder programs, and hopefully you can get all the coaches on the same page and teaching the fundamentals. All right, Maylee Gaby now at the plate. Left-handed batter. And first pitch down low for a ball.
Yeah. That's one of them. If I was Tom, I'd be like, I don't know about that one.
Lou didn't like it. She's got a good view.
She does have a good view. I'll give her that.
Catches the corner for a called strike, 1-1.
Mm-hmm. Wayne, I don't think we could have asked for a better night for softball tonight.
Oh, man, what a beautiful evening. No question.
Gorgeous as the sun sets.
I was out earlier down on 90. They've got that Flee Across Florida going on.
Okay.
And folks were awfully happy with the good weather today and tomorrow for that event.
Yeah.
That stretches all the way from Jacksonville to the Panhandle, all the way down 90 with flea sales everywhere. And a little slap hit right to the shortstop. And Noblet makes the squeeze.
Nice play by Noblet. She got her eye on it, kept her eye on it, and was able to make the out unassisted.
Just trying to go the opposite direction was Gaby, but 2 down now in the inning. And here comes Timberly May.
Noblet, an 8th grader, actually. She's one of the youngsters on this team.
And right up the middle, and this one's going to be tough. Second baseman grabs it. Can it be in time? No.
Oh, they did everything they could. It went right off the pitcher's glove, then bounced to the second baseman, and then made the throw, but it just wasn't in time. A little too much speed by the batter on that one.
Yeah, Serrano was there. She got there quick and did everything she could. But, man, these bases, I tell you what, you don't have time to bobble the ball in softball.
No, they don't.
Down the line in a hurry. 2 down, runner at first base. Felicity May now to the plate. And that one's going to be low in the dirt.
That don't remind me of the golf shots I used to hit whenever I went out golfing with you.
Can you bring up our sorry golf game during Master Week? Masters going on, man. They make it look easy.
Well, and just remember, this is the Masters, so there's going to be some of them pros that are going to look like you and I by the time tonight finishes.
I was watching it early, and defending champion looks pretty good out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to go wire to wire. Let's see. Patrick Reed right on his tail. Called strike.
Nice pitch by Grace Ann.
2-1.
3-1.
3-1. Sorry.
3-1.
And the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a little chopper toward the pitcher. Going to say that hit in foul territory, however. He scooted forward, so full count.
Full count.
Sun going down here in Suwannee County. And there's a smack right up the middle.
Right into center field there. Nice hit that time.
And really nothing to do except play station to station. No way for May to round second and head to third as that ball was hit pretty sharp.
On first and second.
All right, this is very similar to Fort White's at bat. Got a couple of runners on base, 2 down. Let's see if Suwannee can bring one in as Jaden Bell will step up to the plate. Suwannee was able to get out of the jam. Let's see if Fort White can do the same.
We talked about how evenly matched these two teams are when you look at them on paper.
No doubt about that.
Ball outside that time, 1-0.
Suwannee struggled a little bit, lost their starting pitcher right before the season to injury and a car wreck. So, young team as well. There's a dribbler toward the pitcher. She scoots it to first base and not going to be able to get there in time. Again, down that line. And now the bases are full of Bulldogs.
And with the bases loaded.
As Yogi Berra would say, it's like deja vu all over again.
Yeah. All right, Makisha Hunter now coming up. Suwannee left fielder digs in with the bases full. First pitch swing and a miss. Boy, she took a home run cut there.
She took a home run cut, and Grace Ann threw the right pitch there, and it just got by her.
Sure did. So 0-1 now. Durance rocks and fires. Up high, tried to get her to chase. She did not. 1-1.
Good discipline by Hunter that time at the plate.
And again, up high, 2-1.
Yeah, up high off the plate that time on the outside. So,
You know, in softball, they wear those masks in field. There's so much bunting and everything, and the players charge, and you never know when the batter's going to pull back and swing away.
right.
So that's softball. It just comes at you in a hurry. Got to respect what these guys do out here.
And really, to call it a softball is a misnomer because I felt those things are not that soft.
That's true.
They might be softer than a baseball, but not by much.
2-2 pitch to the shortstop. He'll flip to second, and Fort White gets out of the jam.
So both teams able to get out of the jam.
There you go. After one complete no score here on RiverCountrySports.com.
Your one-stop auto shop, J&W Automotive. You know, at J&W, they do paint and body work. Yeah, collision repair, paint jobs, bumper repair. They'll handle your insurance claim for you. At J&W, no job is too big or too small. They also sell vehicles, repair vehicles, retire vehicles, plus front-end alignments, AC work, computer diagnostics. They cut and program keys. They are your one-stop, all-in-one automotive shop. J&W Automotive, Highway 129 North in Live Oak. Call 364-1377. Online at jwautos.com.
Your trusted local real estate partner in Live Oak, Grantham Realty, for all your real estate needs in North Florida. With over 20 years experience, they're more than just a real estate agency. They're your friends and neighbors dedicated to serving this vibrant community. So whether you're buying or selling, you can trust Grantham Realty to provide solutions that fit your needs. At Grantham Realty, you'll be treated as a friend, not a number. Contact their friendly team today. Grantham Realty, 386-362-7080.
Hey, I want to remind you, big fundraiser going on tomorrow. It's the ARC North Florida's 28th annual lawnmower race. That'll be at John Strayer's Pro Arms, 129 North. 9:30 is when the registration starts, and racing starts at 10. So come on out and support these guys. Big fundraiser. They'll have raffles going on and just a bunch of family fun. So come on out. Mowers provided by Fueled Outdoors. And again, this is to support the ARC North Florida. That's going on tomorrow. Racing starts at 10 at Pro Arms, 129 North in Live Oak.
What a day. It should be beautiful weather to have a lot more races.
Should be. And, Dennis Nixon, I believe, is going to stop by and help me out. And
Okay.
maybe my buddy Jay Howe might come by. He provided security for us last year and engineering services. He did a little bit of kind of a jack of all trades, but going to be out there. That's always a good time and a good fundraiser for a great group of people.
That's been going on for quite a while now, isn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
And we've seen it through the years, move from the Coliseum out to the Spirit of the Suwannee, then to John's Lawn Equipment, and now at Pro Arms.
Okay.
It's the same location, but it's kind of grown every year. Not really a speed thing. It's more of an endurance thing, is you have to stop, get off your mower, do these silly pit stops that sponsors provide. Like, okay. Yeah. It's a blast, though. Really is.
Kind of a different variation of a triathlon, it sounds like.
Pretty much. All right, here come the Fort White Indians, top of the second inning, and leading off, this is Avery Balance.
Avery doing a great job for the Lady Indians.
We did have stats and all these things. If you want to look up batting averages and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, Avery, a seventh grader behind the plate, playing that demanding position and gaining that experience young, setting up because we had a transfer as that ball is foul into the net right behind home plate. But before the season, Chloe Kirby, the previous catcher that we had the last couple years, she transferred over to a different school. So Avery got put into the position, and she's learning. She's taken some lumps and stuff, but she's doing good and getting better each and every game.
I still haven't got used to these transfer rules. You used to have to live within the district.
Yeah.
And you couldn't just transfer anywhere you wanted, but things have changed these days.
Yeah, definitely they have.
Not a big fan.
I knew you wouldn't be.
Well, I'm slow to change. Thought about it, but she didn't. Outside for a ball, 3-1.
Good eye by Avery watching that one just off the plate on the outside.
3-1.
And really in the bigger cities, I mean, there's a lot of movement around, and I don't think it's good. I like loyalty to your school.
Well, and that's what we were talking about with Coach Jessica before the game also was, when she played coming up, it was about the name on the front of the jersey. And now you have all the NIL rules that have come down to high school sports, these transfer rules where you can even be at school at one campus and be playing a sport at a different campus. So,
And that was popped behind us and playable for the catcher. Nice catch out there.
yeah, she had a good read on it. Didn't even have to take her mask off.
That Leighton Starley.
And out number
Yes, sir.
She's got the hockey goalie style mask that's become popular over the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, back in our days, you'd have to flip that off, and
Yeah.
you'd have a ball cap underneath that, and then you'd have to go find it all after you made the play.
Yep. Got an 8th grader up at bat, Avery Robinson. She is Coach Robinson's daughter. And I say that as Coach Robinson's plural.
And that went to the third baseman. Nice job by Gaby to cut that off and make the play.
Nice play that time.
No doubt about it. That was a great play. If she lets that go to the shortstop, that's a deeper throw. I don't know if they get her in time.
Yeah, I don't think they do. Not with Avery's speed on that one.
So 2 down now in the inning, and Miley Davis comes to the plate.
number 19, Miley.
306 average for Miley. 36 at bats. Scored 10 runs. So she's been productive for the offense.
That's an all-star right there. You know, if you think about it, I mean, baseball, softball, it's set up to fail more than
Yeah.
if you hit 300, that's all-star level. That's 3 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. Miley just a sophomore.
And to the shortstop. Peterson's throw in time, 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the second inning, still no score here on rivercountrysports.com.
Looking for a quality building that will last, that will add value to your property, that will weather the storm? Look for Elite. Elite Outdoor Buildings has exactly what you're looking for. Reliable, durable, portable, and steel buildings, from carports to barns, bardominiums, and more. Commercial and residential, your premier destination for quality steel structures in the Sunshine State is, without a doubt, at Elite Outdoor Buildings. Visit US 19 in Chiefland and by Lowe's in Lake City and Live Oak. Online at eliteoutdoorbuildings.com.
Don't miss the 32nd annual Welborn Blueberry Festival, Saturday, June 6th from 7:30 to 3:30 at Andrews Square in downtown Welborn, FLA. Start with a delicious blueberry pancake breakfast, served from 7:30 to 10:30. This family-friendly event features over 100 vendors, plus live music, a car show, a kids' corner, complete with a petting zoo and pony rides, plus a parade. And did I mention blueberries? The annual Welborn Blueberry Festival, Saturday, June 6th. For more, visit their Facebook page or their website at welborn.cc.
Mention the Suwannee baseball team playing on the baseball field behind us as we speak. It's senior night. They're honoring their 5 seniors tonight. So a big Bulldog salute going out to Noah Lopez, Gabe Garcia, Hunter Watson, Hampton Newman, and Ty Moses. Ty was a kid that had that 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th, which tied the game against Columbia the other night.
Okay.
And that broadcast available if you want to check that out. It was an exciting game, back and forth, had a little bit of everything. Of course, that's archived on the website.
So I actually.
Okay. And there's a hit to the left fielder. She's going to get over her head. And this is extra bases for Watley. She'll round second. She'll head to third. The cutoff man and no play, standing up with a 3-bagger.
Yep, Miley Davis just misjudged that one out in left field. She thought she had a bead on it, but she was a little too far in and went over her head to the wall. And so the Bulldogs able to get a runner on base on third base in scoring position.
Leadoff runner at third, and let's see if Suwannee can do something with that. So far, we've had 6 runners stranded on base.
I know. It has not been a good night to be a runner so far.
Kinsey to the plate. And that'll be fouled away. Miley Kinsey, the DP. They just got word that the Suwannee baseball team with a 1-0 lead over the Red Raiders early in that contest. Kinsey digs in and going to try to bunt, but foul it away. 0-2 quickly.
Yep. She's battling, though. Trying to keep herself alive.
Raysan gets the ball back in her mitt. And she's ready to go back to work. The windup and the pitch. And that's high, and it gets by the catcher, and here comes the runner. Going to be a close play. She slides in there safe.
Yep, just wasn't quite there in time. The ball wasn't quite there in time. The Suwannee runner comes in sliding, gets the first run on the board.
1-0 Suwannee grabs the lead here in the bottom of the second inning. Now nobody aboard, and a 1-2 count on Kinsey. Lawrence's pitch. Oh, man. Fooled her there a little bit. Throw down just to be sure. And there's the first K of the ball game.
Now number 1. On our Lady Bulldogs.
So Grace Ann comes into the game tonight 4-3,
Now
571 winning percentage.
Number 9, Leighton Williams.
Leighton Starling now the batter. She's the Suwannee catcher. Right-handed batter, number 9. Called strike right on the corner.
Nice pitch by Durant. She just caught that outside corner.
Chopper toward the third baseman, and let's see, no. You can't, but softball, you don't have time for a bobble, do you?
You really don't, because the bases are a little bit closer in than they are in baseball. And before you know it, that runner is down the line and on the bag.
And normally you have a dirt infield, and that's always a little bit tougher. We're going to get a courtesy runner here.
Yep.
And that's Kennedy Lynn Lee.
And now batting for our Lady Bulldogs, and back to the top of our order, number 22, Madison.
That'll allow Starling to get the gear back on. Lee is the runner at first base now. 1 down in the inning to the top of the order. Here's Addison Peterson. Pitch high.
Again, last night, a tough loss for the Lady Indians, a game that was close late in the game, but then 22-7 ended up being the final score. Williston, a very good Williston softball team, came out with a victory over at Dreamcatcher Field in Fort White.
Yeah, Suwannee also lost a tough one last night at Bronson, fell 6-8.
Oh, wow. Went to Bronson one time for a football game under Fort White's inaugural year.
3-0 count now to Peterson. I guess I've ever called a game from Bronson.
Let's just say I'm glad that's the only time I've been to Bronson.
Yes.
Nothing against the school, but the press box left a lot to be desired.
A lot of teams built a nice stadium and then forgot the press box.
Yeah.
And there's a called strike. Showed the bunt sign, but 3-0. She was taken all the way. Now 3-1 count.
Yep, nice pitch by Grace Ann.
Well, Balance has been checking that runner at first base. And if you get too far off the bag, she's going to throw down. And pop foul, right side, and not playable. So she's worked the count back. She had 3-0 count, and now Durance has come back as 3-2.
Avery Robinson tried to get pursuit from the first base position, but just a little too far out of her reach.
There's the payoff pitch. And that's going to miss, and that'll put her on first base, and that'll move the courtesy runner to second.
No, they actually were trying to get her in a rundown, so she's advanced over to third, Wayne, because Balance put a little too much mustard on the hot dog there, and it ended up out in center field.
Well, he was testing that arm strength.
She was.
So that'll cost him a base. Well, Fort White's defense being challenged a little bit here. Suwannee with 1 run across, and Maylee Gaby now to the plate. Right back to the pitcher.
There you
she
go.
Goes to first base, lets the run score.
That's right.
2 down.
Robinson for out number 2, but that's going to push across. Run number 2 for our Lady Bulldogs.
So we can give Gaby an RBI there.
Yeah.
Now batting
2-0 Suwannee. 2 down in the inning, and now Timberly May.
Kimberly May.
Peterson at second base. Outside.
Ball 1.
But yeah, I was going to tell you, Wayne, the broadcast that I saw for you guys wasn't the Suwannee Columbia game over here. It was the one in Lake City when y'all were over there earlier in the year. That was the one that I had the chance to catch. And
that was the one that Green was lights out that night.
Yeah.
Pitched to Jim.
2, the count is 2-0.
The one over here in Live Oak had a little more offense on both sides. And this is popped toward the center fielder. She drifts back and makes a nice play on the ball.
Nice catch by Taryn Clyde, the senior for the Lady Indians, to get the third out.
And that's going to retire the side after 2. It's Suwannee 2 and Fort White nothing there on rivercountrysports.com.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Van Carpet One. For 78 years, we've been your local family-owned and operated floor covering store, and we can't wait to serve you. Let's go check out some of the stuff we've got and say hey to the guys.
Hey guys, this is Michael Van here at Van Carpet One. Wanted to show you our huge display of carpet. Got about 1,000 rolls for you that we can order. We also keep about 100 in stock that are on clearance, so please come down and give us a visit. We appreciate it.
Come in and see the largest tile collection in North Florida. Van Carpet One has every tile you could possibly imagine. If you can't find it here, they don't make it. Guys, take a look at this. This is just some of our options in waterproof vinyl plank, where we have the largest selection anywhere around here, including over 70 pallets in stock, ready to go right now. Come in and see our fantastic selection of elegant hardwood too, followed up by fantastic service that you expect from a company like Van Carpet One.
Come on in and see us.
We can't wait to serve you. And that's a boom shakalaka.
Bulldog Softball brought to you in part by Van Carpet One. They're on Faith Road in Lake City. If you haven't checked out the new facility, that big white building just off of 90, man, it is spectacular. They got everything you need. We got flooring there, and they did a great job, man. Highly recommend.
Yeah, Eddie, James, all those guys over there, they do a great job, and I've known Eddie for a long, long time, and great to have them as a sponsor here on River Country Sports.
No question about it. All right, we start the third inning here, and top of the order for the Fort White Indians.
Grace Ann coming up to bat, number 10, our pitcher.
He singled her first at bat, little infield single. Third baseman playing up, looking for that again.
All on the outside. Grace Ann batting .434 this season. 53 at bats with 15 runs, 23 hits.
The 1-0 pitch. Popped right up this, and it hit the press box.
I almost had it, man. I almost had it. I was this close.
You do have to be aware, because every once in a while it'll get just over that fence.
Yep.
You got to be ready for it. You got to protect the equipment. That is the biggest thing.
The here with the way this stadium is set up, there's a little bit more room behind, so a bit harder to put the net back to the press box.
And pop to the infield. Second baseman calls for it. He makes the catch.
Reese Noblet will be next in the batter's box for the Lady Indians.
Now batting for the Lady Indians, number 2.
So one down, and here comes Reese. She also had a little bunt single back in the first inning. Nobody covered first base. Not offering here. Takes a strike.
Nice pitch. Just hitting off the outside corner there.
Little chopper to the shortstop. She'll hurry the throw. Boy, nice stretch over there, first base.
I'll tell you,
putouts made.
The left side of the infield has been pretty busy the last couple innings, Wayne.
They have. That was a nice play by Peterson. She had to throw a strike in Felicity May at first base, kind of stretched out there, and that was the difference maker.
Number 99, Sydney Hill.
Sydney, a sophomore, coming up to bat.
Racy is, I'm looking at the stat page, and this is her first appearance, as far as I can tell. So
okay,
she was the girl that was injured right before the season. So this is a big lift for Suwannee.
Okay. Sydney batting .255 in 47 at bats, 12 hits on the season to this point.
It's up high.
2-0. Mills showing good discipline at the plate so far at this at bat. Her second time around in the batter's box this game.
Flew out to the shortstopper. First plate appearance. Batting here with 2 down, trying to get something going for the Indians. There's a ball, 3-0.
Yeah. Again, Sydney showing that discipline at the plate.
Doesn't matter how you get aboard.
That's right.
Base runners.
At this point, you're down by 2 runs. Get people on base. Make Coach Jessica and Coach Josh work out there on the outside the baseline.
There's Gracie's pitch. Swinging at 3-0. Now 3-1. Got the green light on 3-0.
Kind of surprised me there.
A little bit.
Because that did look like it could have been ball 4 with the way that it came across the plate there.
Yeah. She liked it. Sometimes the coaches say, if that's your pitch, let the better hitter swing away. Now here comes the 3-1 delivery. And that's way out of the strike zone, and there's a free pass.
Yep, Sydney got her swing in, and she was taken all the way on that one.
Now batting for the Lady Indians.
So Mills to first base, and now Peyton Griffiths to the plate.
Griffiths.
325 hitter.
Meanwhile, a little conference on the mound between battery mates. The Richard Norris Softball Complex, home of the Lady Dogs.
Nice complex here. This is my first time that I remember being over here.
And they're building new facilities here on the third base side. Got nice facilities on the first base side. It's really grown. And this whole complex, baseball and softball, is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Time is going to be called. Coach Gaby wants to come out and talk to Gracie. Her endurance probably not quite there yet.
Yeah.
And so she seems to be struggling a little bit here with strike zone.
Yeah, and I will say, Wayne, that's one of the things that I get asked about, the way that our complex is set up, because we have the softball on one side of the football field, the baseball on the other side of the football field. So we're not right there together like you see at a lot of schools. And in some ways, I kind of wish we were, just so when both teams are playing like tonight, we have both baseball and softball going, so you have that extra energy in the air.
It's just a great atmosphere. And, you watch an inning of baseball, then you'll float over here and watch a little softball back and forth. And it's a really cool atmosphere when they're both playing at the same time.
Of course, what I do like now is that about 3 years ago, we got a press box on top of the concession stand behind home plate over in Fort White. So now between innings, I can walk over. If softball's at home, I can see the scoreboard from my press box and see what softball is doing.
And in the air, center field, playable, and nice play out there.
Yep.
Kimberly May makes the squeeze, and that's going to do it for the Lady Indians. Still 2-0 Suwannee here on RiverCountrySports.com.
No matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there. That's why Farm Bureau Insurance has been a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Local people, great rates, friendly service. That's the Farm Bureau Insurance promise. Farm Bureau Insurance, serving Florida for over 70 years. In Suwannee County, you'll find Farm Bureau in Brantford and in Live Oak. In Brantford on Drain Street, phone 935-1274. And in Live Oak on Dowling Avenue, call 362-1274. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Excellence in academic and clubs. Tradition, family, future. Foundations for lifelong learning. Leadership begins here. Careers start here. Curiosity meets opportunity. Building the leaders of tomorrow. Learning begins with love. One district, every student, every day. The Suwannee County School District, my choice for high-quality education.
Hey, I want to remind you about the 32nd annual Welborn Blueberry Festival. Write this date down, Saturday, June 6th. That'll be downtown Welborn, 7:30 to 3:30. For more, go to their website. Got all the information at welborn.cc.
Not that it matters, but that's a Saturday after my birthday.
That's a good time to celebrate with blueberries, I think.
Yeah.
There's a called strike. Good looking pitch there by Durrance.
Yeah, Grace Ann with a nice pitch coming across the plate. That one for the opening strike of the inning.
Leading off for Suwannee, it's Felicity May.
A little bit outside that time for Grace Ann.
The county is 21.
Felicity digs in, waits for the 1-1 pitch. There it is, down low, 2-1.
You know, Wayne, we hadn't mentioned it, but besides a reunion with you and Tammy, it's another reunion for me here at Suwannee High School with Terry Filia over there on the microphone doing the PA announcing for the Lady Bulldogs.
Terry, one of the best PA announcers in the area, no question.
I taught him everything I know.
Oh, man, he's just got that golden voice.
Nice play to get the out
she
that
stayed
time.
with it. And he bobbled that initially, but recovered quickly and made the putout.
Yep.
Now batting for Lady Bulldogs.
So one down. Leadoff batter is erased, and Jaden Bell now comes to the plate. Bell got a single back in the first inning, batting here in the third.
Grace had a little high outside that time with the first pitch.
Imagine Grace Ann's wind up there. She kind of crouches just a little bit as she goes into it. Tell you what, in softball, that makes the difference between winning and losing seasons. That pitching, and some teams that they just have one ace, and this makes a big difference. The second baseman that gets Byer into right field. That'll be a base hit.
Yeah, the defense just couldn't handle that one. They make the play to prevent the base hit.
She'd have had to give up her body there to knock that one down. It was pretty sharply hit. So into right field for a single. Bell at first base, and now Markeisha Hunter to the plate. She grounded out to the shortstop back in the first inning.
Yeah, I'm trying not to just watch the monitor now that I can see the monitor with the sunset. Trying to keep my eye on the field as well. Little miscommunication there between the first and the second baseman is going to get another Bulldog on the base paths.
And Hunter's quick now. She was down that line in a hurry, and that puts pressure on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you're right. Just a little confusion as to who wants it.
Who was taking the ball and who was covering the bag.
Number 87, Timberland.
Emlyn Watley now to the plate. 2 on, 1 down.
Nice block behind the plate by Balance. That ball could have easily got away from her, but she was able to keep it in front of her and prevent any runners from advancing.
Watley coming in with a .255 batting average. And toward the shortstop, she makes the play and hits the lead runner. Nice play out there, a shortstop by Noblin.
Yeah, take the easy out, get the lead runner, prevent them from potentially scoring a run. So nice play by Noblet. 2 outs.
Down. 2 down, and that wasn't an easy play because the runner was coming by her as the ball arrived, but she kept her eye on it and then made the quick throw to third.
And she had to make a quick decision. Do I go to second? Do I go to third? Because the runner from first was advancing to second.
Ball inside now to Miley Kinsey. Kinsey, the designated player.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what that means. In baseball, if you have a designated hitter, that's what they do. And if you insert them into the lineup defensively, you have to make some changes to the pitcher. Going to be a tough play there, not going to be in time. And Suwannee going to try to squeeze a run in, and they do.
Yeah. Just a couple steps behind at first and a couple steps behind at home trying to get the outs. So it remained 2 outs, but the Bulldogs, they played another run to go up 3-0.
For Lady Bulldogs.
And runner all the way. Watley came all the way around to third base. But with the DP, I understand that you can put them out in defense and you can bring them, in and out, kind of switch them around.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, because I was asking that question before because I'm just not as familiar with softball as I am with baseball.
Right.
And
well, I actually learned that with you right before the game.
That's the beauty about having relationships and friendships with the coaches. You can ask these kind of things because they know. I mean, as much as Josh and Jessica would like to have me over at the softball field to do their PA, I'm usually doing baseball. So,
but to clone yourself,
right?
Clayton Starling. That's up high.
That didn't work out too well in the Star Wars movies with the clones.
No, it didn't. I think we had a clone war, if I remember right. We don't need anyone around.
Exactly. Bad things happen, man.
All 3.
Outside.
Yeah, Grace Ann outside on that one.
Let's see. She battled back last time. She went 3-0 and made it interesting before walking the batter. So see what happens here. First base is open. And comes back with a strike.
Nice strike that time by Grace Ann. But you got to have a short memory when you're in the pitcher circle on the pitcher's mound, regardless of what sport you're playing. Focus on the next pitch. You can't take that last one back again.
That was a fact. And to the shortstop, she Nord hops it and makes a great throw. Again, a nice play by the Fort White shortstop, Noblet.
Yep.
And that's going to do it. Suwannee is able to play one run. It's 3-0 Bulldogs after 3 here on RiverCountrySports.com.
The hunt is on during the Declaration of Deals sales event at Walt's Live Oak Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Go on the ultimate egg hunt for unbeatable savings on cars, Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs. Crack open big savings on select 2025 Ram 1500s with up to $12,000 off MSRP.
People ask me, how do you give such great prices? Easy. Unlike the bunny, we don't hide our deals. That's right.
Walt's Live Oak Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. These deals are Easter Bunny approved.
Do you want to help veterans? Vet Team 6 is a nonprofit organization that helps North Florida and South Georgia veterans with all types of projects. Things that other organizations may not be able to do, like mowing lawns, removing debris, repairing driveways. We even help one veteran bury his donkey. You can help Vet Team 6 by volunteering your time or by making a monetary donation to the cause. For more information, check out our Facebook page at VETTEAMSIX. Vet Team 6. 6 branches, 1 mission.
And back here at the ballpark, a couple of musical concerts tomorrow. Wild Adventures has Kansas coming in.
Yeah, I saw them at SeaWorld last year.
And then the Atlanta Rhythm section going to be playing downtown Valdosta at the Bluesberry Festival.
Kind of spooky.
I mean, yeah.
And
I will have a champagne jam.
I won't be at either of those because me and my cousin Nikki and her daughter Carden, we're going to SeaWorld, going to see Great White and Slaughter play down as part of the Seven Seas Food Festival.
That's a pretty good choice.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of them, but
live music is just still a blast.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
All right, Taryn Clyde to lead off here for the Fort White Indians. He's the Fort White senior.
Yep. And Taryn, on the year, a 407 average, 27 at bats, 9 runs, 11 hits, 11 RBI. So a very productive hitter, including getting her first home run last night that we talked about earlier in the game, Wayne.
And to the shortstop. Nice play. Addison Peterson.
Yep. And next Friday night, I'm glad this game wasn't next Friday night because I will be in St. Augustine rocking to the sounds of Night Ranger and Foreigner with Luke Graham making a special appearance.
I'll be doggone. 2 of my favorite bands growing up back in the 80s, 70s, 80s.
And another one of yours is starting a tour tonight down in Orlando.
Yeah, Triumph.
Yep.
Yeah, ticket prices were just a little out of my reach. I would love to go.
I'm still debating on that Tampa show Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, me too. I've hinted to my kids. My birthday's in May, so I've hinted strongly. We'll see
exactly.
if that comes through. 2 balls.
Layla Alvey, the batter, number 22.
She was a girl that hit into that interference play back in the first inning, which took us a little bit to understand. So,
honestly, I'm still not sure I do understand it, but we're not in a position where we can talk to the umpires and find out what the call was. So.
You don't see it often when the coach comes out, and normally they lose those arguments with blue.
They do.
In that case, the 2 umpires got together and made the call. We get a good crowd out there in behind the fence out there in left center field.
Yeah.
The bleacher bums.
The bleacher bums. They were trying to get as good a position as your camera out in center field.
Yeah. That's Anthony Woolsey running our camera, standing on top of my truck. Up to the center fielder. And the catch is made by May and 2 down.
Now it's number 2 on the Lady Indians.
So 2 up, 2 down. Now Avery balanced to the plate. Yep.
Now batting.
Popped up to the catcher, her first plate appearance.
For Avery. Allen.
Kind of appropriate. Avery playing catcher, popping up to the catcher there in her first appearance. I know she wants to put a ball in play here.
Takes a strike.
She's another one. I've known her dad for a long time. Used to be a firefighter with Columbia County Fire Rescue. Back in the day, as the kids say.
The kids. That one's up high. Would have needed a step ladder to reach that one.
Yeah, right.
1-1 count.
The count is 1-1.
I'm not sure I could have reached that one flat-footed in the batter's box.
Watley's pitch, swing and a miss.
Mm.
That was a little bit high as well.
That was, but Avery was going after it.
You don't realize how fast that ball gets on you as the hitter. That you don't have the same distance that you have in baseball, so it's pretty quick. And there's a strikeout, and that should retire the side.
And it does.
So the score remains 3-0 Suwannee here on RiverCountrySports.com.
Want professional concrete services in Live Oak and surrounding areas? Look to Cameron Concrete. They specialize in efficient concrete services for residential and commercial jobs. With their experienced team and state-of-the-art equipment, they can ensure reliable delivery of concrete for all types of projects. From slab construction to sidewalk installation, patio design and installation, concrete repair, plus recycled asphalt millings for driveways and roads. Trust Cameron Concrete for quality workmanship and excellent customer service. Cameron Concrete, 386-590-1279. Online at CameronConcrete.com. Your one-stop auto shop, J&W Automotive. You know, at J&W, they do paint and body work. Yeah, collision repair, paint jobs, bumper repair. They'll handle your insurance claim for you. At J&W, no job is too big or too small. They also sell vehicles, repair vehicles, retire vehicles, plus front-end alignments, AC work, computer diagnostics. They cut and program keys. They are your one-stop, all-in-one automotive shop. J&W Automotive. Highway 129 North in Live Oak. Call 364-1377. Online at jwautos.com.
Suwannee Bulldog Softball here on RiverCountrySports.com. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. 3-0 Suwannee here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Wayne Luttrell, Shane Morgan tonight.
Glad to be along with you, my friend. Been a while since we called a ball game like this together. Back in the old days at Fort White baseball when the press box was a picnic table.
That's true. Remember that first year? We set it up right behind home plate.
Yep.
And come a long way since those days.
Yes, we have.
We got one of the nicest facilities. And we continue to grow here at Booster Field and Richard Norris Softball Complex.
Mm-hmm. Bottom of the fourth inning.
Top of the order here for Suwannee. Addison Peterson at the plate.
Yep, 2 balls on Peterson.
There's the 2-0 pitch. That just misses. 3-0.
Yep.
The count is 3-0.
Ray Sam regroups, now back on the rubber. And the pitch. Walks her on 4 straight.
Yeah, went to square up for a bunt, but the ball was off the plate and was good for a walk. So Suwannee has a runner on first base.
Lady Bulldogs.
What do you think about the double bags at first base? You a fan of that?
It confuses me. I still don't quite understand the purpose of the double bags.
Supposed to be to avoid collisions. First baseman would be on the outside bag, and the runner should hit the inside bag.
Yeah.
That's the idea, anyway. There's Gaby up to bat.
A little low and outside that time from Gray Sam. Or actually, it hit the corner, didn't it? Yeah.
Called strike.
Yeah.
And that one just missed the corner.
Yeah.
1-1.
That was a pitch I thought I was describing at first. Oh, my goodness.
Good crowd on hand here for the contest. Rivals, Fort White and Suwannee. Popped in the air, playable for the catcher. She can find it.
No, she lost it.
I couldn't find it.
That was probably a case where it might have done Avery some good to toss the mask and take a look up there. But, you know, that the hockey style mask doesn't look to be as easy to take off in a hurry like the old style catcher's mask were.
And I think if you try to get it off, by the time you do, you're not going to find that ball anyway. So Need your teammates to yell, it's right behind you, right behind you. Ball and 2 strikes. And can't take advantage of it and goes down swinging.
For the first out of the inning.
Usually you get that new life. Got to take advantage of that.
That's it. And that's one of the things the Lady Bulldogs have been able to do tonight is take advantage of the breaks that they've got to get these runs in.
21.
Peterson's still at first base, and now Timberly May. You got back-to-back Mays here with Timberly, Felicity on deck. That's in the dirt. He'll get by the catcher, and then he'll let the runner advance to second base.
So are the Mays related? Are they sisters? Or
let's guess they are.
Okay. Tammy's nodding her head, so we're going to.
It is a softball family.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
This is why Tammy's in charge of us.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to keep things straight around here.
Right?
Tell her, Tammy's my partner in River Country, and I tell everybody she's the brains of the operation. I'm the talent. We use that term loosely. 3-0.
Raysan's struggling a little bit here this inning.
Struggling with control just a little bit here, and does she normally go the distance, or?
I think most of the time she does.
She does. Yeah.
I've heard of a couple games where they had to pull her out, and you know, I'm sure in those games that end up being runaways, like last night, they lifted her. She pitched a good part of the game against Williston, so that might be coming into play here tonight. But they did pull her when it was 9-7, and that's when Williston really took over at that point.
Well, she's issued 2 walks in between a strikeout, so.
But that's one of the things that's always amazed me about the softball pitchers is the number of pitches in consecutive days that they can throw, just because the arm angles are different than what a baseball pitcher throws.
Apparently less stress pitching underhand as opposed to overhand. And to third base, and she'll throw across the diamond, gets the out. The runners advance, now in scoring position at second and third.
Nice play that time to get the out by the Fort White defense.
I was a little surprised that she didn't go back to the bag at third, but that would have been a tougher play to turn around and dive to the bag, so she took the sure out.
Yeah, and with the way that the ball was bouncing, she was gliding toward the ball to get it, so she was going in that direction. But there's a wild pitch that time. It bounced, and that's going to score another run.
And that's kind of been the story of this game.
Yeah. And honestly, if you talk to the coaches and people that have watched, that's been the story of Fort White's season this year, is not being able to prevent the errors and allowing the other team to take advantage of them.
Jaden Bell takes outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Still runner at third base. 4 runs across for Suwannee.
Well,
3-0. She's fallen behind on most every batter this inning. But she's walked, strikeout, walked, ground out.
And there again.
Ball 4, and this time it's able to keep it in front of her as balance, so doesn't allow that runner to come. And I tell you what, it's kind of a interesting situation because there's that wall behind, and you don't know exactly how that ball's going to come off of it. Sometimes it'll bounce right back to the catcher, and there'll be a closer play.
Well, and honestly, Wayne, I think on that one, I think the ball, because it hit the ground, came up and hit Balance's shin guard, and that's what caused it to bounce forward. I don't think it made it all the way back to the backstop that time.
So he was able to keep it in front of her. That was a good job. No matter how you got to stop it, glove, shin guard. Ball high.
In hockey, that would have been a pad save.
I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, and they've kind of blown it this week and slipped into third place there in the East.
I don't want to hear it. I'm a Rangers fan. We haven't been good all year. Our 100th season. Something about 100 seasons.
Catcher's indifference allows Bell to go to second.
Yeah. All high.
Maybe a mound visit might help us kind of settle her down a little bit.
I think they're trying to let Grace Ann go ahead and work through this. Try to get out of the inning.
They got 2 down. 3-0 count on Hunter. First base is open. And there's a called strike.
Nice pitch.
The count is 3-1.
Couple of ducks on the pond. If Hunter can come through with a base hit, and she'll foul that one to the screen.
Back into the net.
And 3-2 count now for 3-0. Now a full count.
And that's the thing, the coaches, Robinson, they have a lot of confidence in Grayson and what she can do. So.
And down the line, that's going to be foul. Just pulled it foul, so out of play.
Count remains full.
Still a full count on the batter. Coaches Robinson. That sounds like a pretty good band name.
That's the Black Crows, the Brothers Robinson.
Yeah. And that's popped on the right side and just going to run out of room over there.
Yeah, Avery Robinson, their daughter, was trying to get to it, but I think she ran out of room. She kind of went behind the dugout, so I couldn't see if she made the catch or not, but I don't think she did because nobody is leaving the ball field.
Yep. Hunter is just battling up there. Again, out of play. Hey, give Durham some credit now. It was 3-0. She couldn't find the strike zone, and now she's grooved about 4 or 5 straight in that strike zone, but keep getting fouled away by Hunter. And this time into fair territory to the center fielder, and the catch is made. And that'll keep Suwannee quiet with just 1 run across this inning. But Suwannee has 4, Fort White nothing here on RiverCountrySports.com.
Your trusted local real estate partner in Live Oak, Grantham Realty, for all your real estate needs in North Florida. With over 20 years experience, they're more than just a real estate agency. They're your friends and neighbors dedicated to serving this vibrant community. So whether you're buying or selling, you can trust Grantham Realty to provide solutions that fit your needs. At Grantham Realty, you'll be treated as a friend, not a number. Contact their friendly team today. Grantham Realty, 386-362-7080.
Looking for a quality building that will last, that will add value to your property, that will weather the storm? Look for Elite. Elite Outdoor Buildings has exactly what you're looking for. Reliable, durable, portable, and steel buildings, from carports to barns, bardominiums, and more. Commercial and residential, your premier destination for quality steel structures in the Sunshine State is, without a doubt, at Elite Outdoor Buildings. Visit US 19 in Chiefland and by Lowe's in Lake City and Live Oak. Online at eliteoutdoorbuildings.com.
Got Terry Filia doing the PA, and now Fort White fans and Suwannee fans familiar with him. He's coached at both and taught at both schools, and kind of a legend in the area.
Terry and I ran the highways up and down for 5 or 6 years, calling Fort White Indian football. And
And he's coached over here in the PA, and as I say, been a teacher at both schools. And
coached with us over in our inaugural year in 2000. He was a coach on Mike Hunter's staff.
All right, Avery Robinson ready to lead off here for the Fort White Indians as we begin the 5th inning. And the first pitch will miss for ball 1.
Avery, 8th grader. Saw her brother Brantley. He's a year or 2 younger than Avery is, and he was on puppy patrol.
Puppy patrol?
Yeah, he had a puppy with him. There's a strike.
The count is 1-1.
Wasn't sure if that was a reference to Suwannee and the younger players, maybe.
No, that was actually before the game. He has a puppy on a leash.
Yeah. If that puppy gets injured, remember, Companion Animal Hospital here in Live Oak. Take care of it.
Proud sponsors of our scoreboard on the broadcast. I like that.
Yeah, take our animals there when we have to. They don't like it.
I bet not.
Yeah, I try to explain to them this is for your own good.
Yeah, but I know you. How do you when you have to go to the doctor?
Yeah, I'm about the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife says it's for your own good. 3-1 count.
So usually she's like, "Wayne, are we doing this again?" Oh my gosh.
And that'll be up high. That's ball 4, and Fort White has the leadoff man aboard here in the 5th inning.
Yep, Avery doing a good job watching the pitches, and
This is the game next door.
all right, update on the baseball contest. Suwannee 3-0 over Santa Fe. They're in the top of the fourth inning behind us. Appreciate that update. Suwannee trying to close out the regular season with a win.
Yeah. Miley Davis up at bat, number 19 for the Lady Indians.
Grounded out to the shortstop, her first plate appearance.
Miley at 306 batting average coming into the night. 14 games played.
And that's going to get through. That's
nice
a base
hit.
hit into left field. And the Fort White Indians have something cooking here in the fifth with back-to-back base runners. Had a walk and a base hit. Now first and second, nobody down.
With the top of the order coming up because Grace Ann's coming to the plate.
And this is how the game started. First two runners aboard, but then kind of fizzled out and ended up leaving the bases loaded.
Yep.
Fort White this time trying to scratch a run or two across. Top of the order, as you mentioned. Here's Grace Ann Durrance. Gracie Watley checks the wristband. Now she's got her pitch. Rocks and deals. Going to be out of the strike zone. That's a ball.
Yep.
So in softball, you can't steal until you can steal, but you can't get off that base until the pitch is made.
Okay.
Isn't that how that works?
I think it is. I think it is, actually. Look at me knowing a softball rule. Go me.
2-0 count.
Just kidding. I do watch some of the college softball whenever it's on TV and everything. So,
well, you got one of the best college softball programs at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
Top programs in the nation.
Just a short drive away from Lake City.
And swings at that one. That'll be fouled out of play.
Terry Filial with the kick save on that one.
Right one. The count is 2-1.
Off to our right side.
There's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Right.
So, Wayne, are you going to be able to do your Monday night show next week, or are you be doing baseball next week? How's that going to work?
Oh, yeah. Every Monday it's Suwannee Sports Report, and at this time of the year, it's the Diamond Dog Podcast with Coach Billy Moran, brought to you by Roundtree Moore Ford. And so that'll be on the air Monday, 7 o'clock.
Excellent.
And we'll have a semifinal game for Suwannee in District 3-3A. That'll be on the air Wednesday, 7 o'clock first pitch. And don't know who we're playing yet. It'll be either Wolfson or Stanton. And then the championship game, should they win there, will be Friday night.
Okay.
And then from there, we begin the 3A playoffs and don't know where that will be. Could be home, could be away, but we'll keep you posted.
All just depends on how the brackets turn out.
And I tell you what, full count. That was a pretty gutsy throw there by Starling.
It was.
Throwing behind the runner at first, chasing her back. Suwannee trying to get it out here. Nobody down in the inning. Full count. And they're going to do it again.
Grace Ann trying to give me a souvenir that time.
Grace Ann staying alive.
She is. She is battling for sure.
I mean, you can just tell, but she wants to hit. She's not up there looking for a walk.
No, she wants to get an RBI or two if she can. 3-2, nobody out. 2 runners on, first and second.
And there's a called strike 3. Caught her looking there, and that'll be the first out in the inning.
And here comes 8th grader Reese Noblet. Young lady that's had a good fielding night on a lot of plays tonight for the Lady Indians.
Hey, she's hitting 500 at the plate, 1 for 2.
Yeah.
And up at a key spot here with 1 down in the inning and 2 runners aboard. And that one bounced to the catcher.
1 hop to the catcher that time. Noblet coming into the game with a .366 batting average. 41 at bats, 9 runs, 15 hits, 6 RBI on the season. Got a couple of doubles, a couple of triples, no homers.
Gracie checks her wrist. Now she's ready to deliver the pitch. And there it is. And kind of a didn't mean to swing. And that'll be on the foul side of first base.
The count is
the old oopsie swing.
I don't know that she meant to.
I don't think she did. I think she was trying to hold up.
The bat was kind of in the way. But no harm, no foul. Foul
Well,
ball.
Actually, it was a foul.
Well,
but
yeah.
James, come on more often.
Got half the crew rooting for you over there.
I hear that.
Yeah.
There's a strike.
The count is 1-2.
1-2 with one out.
Suwannee trying to get out of this jam. Give Gracie some credit here. She's battling back after the first two runners reached. And there's a slow roller to third, only plays to first. Is it in time? It is. Runners advance.
Noblet doing her job, advancing the runners to second and third.
Now number 2 on the Lady Indians.
So second and third, two down, and now it's going to take a two-out hit. Here's Sydney Mills to the plate.
Now batting for the Lady Indians.
Big number 99.
Number 99, but she's only batting .255 on the season and 47 at bats, 4 runs, 12 hits.
Base hit here will play 2 runs.
Mm-hmm.
She can get it to the outfield, that is. And
Look at that.
Oh, it's going to be foul.
Foul ball.
She got around quick on that, just maybe a little too quick, and it's in foul territory on the third base side. Suwannee trying to protect that 4-0 lead. Fort White put a little pressure on him here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Fort White thought they had a 1-0 lead in the first inning, but an interference call blanked that out as the ball is high.
1 now. The count is 1-1.
Levels the count at 1-1 with 2 outs, 2 on.
And the Fort White right fielder ready to hit here with a 1-1 count. Watley's pitch. And back toward the middle to the shortstop, and she can't come up with it cleanly, and Fort White is on the board.
Avery Robinson coming in, scoring the first run for the Lady Indians.
Of Fort White.
And that keeps runners on the corners at first and third.
First and third, now a 4-1 ball game. And the always dangerous Peyton Griffiths at the plate.
Yep, she comes in. 325 batting average. 12 runs, 13 hits on the season. You know, she would like to add an RBI or 2 to her tally.
She's flown out twice in this ball game. Second baseman and center fielder, swing and a miss.
Peyton just a little bit behind that one that time.
A healthy cut at it, but came up empty on that one. So 0-1. The wind is blowing out, looking at the flag in center field. If she can get one up in the air.
I know it was crazy last night in Fort White how windy it was at our baseball game. Ball outside. And just to make it a little more challenging, the baseball diamond, I don't know if you remember, Wayne, it is actually up on a hill. And so the wind was just really whipping last night.
It was, but fortunately, you know, it's not 30 degrees outside, so
it's that part.
It wasn't too bad. And there's another pop fly, should be playable, and it is. Shortstop makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side. But Fort White on the scoreboard now, 4-1 Suwannee here on RiverCountrySports.com.
Don't miss the 32nd annual Welborn Blueberry Festival, Saturday, June 6th from 7:30 to 3:30 at Andrews Square in downtown Welborn, FLA. Start with a delicious blueberry pancake breakfast, served from 7:30 to 10:30. This family-friendly event features over 100 vendors, plus live music, a car show, a kids' corner, complete with a petting zoo and pony rides, plus a parade. And did I mention blueberries? The annual Welborn Blueberry Festival, Saturday, June 6th. For more, visit their Facebook page or their website at welborn.cc.
No matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there. That's why Farm Bureau Insurance has been a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Local people, great rates, friendly service. That's the Farm Bureau Insurance promise. Farm Bureau Insurance, serving Florida for over 70 years. In Suwannee County, you'll find Farm Bureau in Brantford and in Live Oak. In Brantford on Drain Street, phone 935-1274. And in Live Oak on Dowling Avenue, call 362-1274. Farm Bureau Insurance.
And a big Bulldog salute going out to the whole team there at Farm Bureau Insurance, Kevin Green and all of his associates, Live Oak and Brantford, Farm Bureau Insurance, season sponsors here at rivercountrysports.com. We certainly appreciate them. By the way, if you have a business, you want to sponsor us, this is all driven by the business community, trying to keep it free for the folks. I'd love to hear from you. Love to get you signed up as a sponsor. Just give us a call at River Country Sports. You can always reach us via email, rivercountrysports@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook or on the website. Real easy to get a hold of us. Our office is 129 South in Live Oak.
And today, I had no issue finding the office because I knew what to look for, unlike the first time I came over back in January.
Yeah, you did one of the first sports reports.
Yeah.
And there's a pop fly, shallow center field, and making a charge and a basket catch is quiet. Nice play out there.
Oh, Taryn, her brother is actually one of our senior baseball players. And so a ball-playing family are the Quiets.
And how many fly balls has been hit out to her, brother? And she made a nice catch. Everybody in the family would be proud of that one.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they're all down here somewhere.
All right. Looks like we get a pinch hitter here. So Kennedy Lynn Lee is going to come in and get that bat here, batting in the place of Kinsey, the DP.
All right. Her first at bat.
She is actually double zero.
Okay.
Double lot taking the first strike.
No, I'm just saying we can't.
Tammy's telling me TMI. Okay. So she is explaining where it says at bat. She's double zero, but we don't have that being able to do that. So
I got
you
you.
only put 1-0 up there. What can we say?
Okay.
Anyway, that's good information to have right there. 1-1 count. Lee waits for the 1-1 pitch. And, that was right at her, and she's going to take her base.
Yeah, the old HBP.
Hit by the pitch. And I wasn't sure how they'd interpret that because it looked like she was squaring the bunt there, but I guess she pulled back. And that's one way to get on base. I don't recommend that one.
Well, Lee had no choice but to pull back because the ball was coming right at her.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
It hit her in the upper thigh and on her outside facing leg. And now she's on base. The coach has checked on her. And she's good to stay in, although she's smarting a little bit. That'll probably leave a nice little bruise tomorrow.
Number 9,
Leanne Starling will now come up with a runner at first base and one down. And that was going to get through into the outfield. And going to advance the runner first and second now.
You know, we've talked about it a couple of times tonight, Wayne, but I'm still amazed at how fast the play is in as opposed to baseball, just because of the difference in the base distances between each other.
They don't have a lot of room. And we're going to get a courtesy runner.
Courtesy runner.
And that is Kirsten Lynn.
We think.
Courtesy runner.
Now they're both kind of looking, checking.
Number 36.
Am I in, coach?
With the umpire.
Am I in, Blue?
Not sure what the confusion is about. I mean, courtesy runner for the pitcher or catcher. That's pretty standard. And they could be talking about dinner plans. I don't
Maybe so.
Hey, I will tell you this. When you come out here to the softball complex, bring your appetite, man. They have some great food downstairs.
Oh, yeah. Just catching the whiff of it coming up here. It smells great.
And back to the double order. Number 22, Addison Peterson.
Peterson up at bat for the Lady Bulldogs. Grace Ann's pitch high and outside.
Standing in here with one down and two on. Peterson on the night, she has walked a couple of times. She scored a run. Officially 0 for 1 in the book. Rounded out to the second baseman back in the first inning. And going to hit a sharp one to the shortstop. She'll get the lead runner.
Nice play by Noblet that time. She got right in front of it and was able to get her composure, get it over the third base for the second out. Which also happened to be the lead runner on the base paths.
Yeah, so a fielder's choice for Peterson. And it's hard to believe Noblet is as young as you say she is. She's playing like a veteran out there.
She really is. And again, if you're just joining us, Reese Noblet, number 2, our shortstop, she is in 8th grade.
And this is Gaby to the plate now. 47, Maylee Gaby.
Okay.
He struck out her last at bat. Let's see if she can atone for that here with 2 runners in scoring position. And she does. Is that going to drop? Yep, right in front of the center fielder. In fact, it's going to kind of carry them over her, and they're going to send the runners around. Could be a play at the plate. Now, Suwannee gets in there, and they'll take third.
Lynn and Peterson, 2 more runs.
So 2 runs come across, and Gaby all the way around to third base.
Yeah. That time, I don't know if she lost it in the lights or what, but Clyde had a beat on it, but just could not make the play. It rolled around there kind of in that center field area off towards left field. And then it was just, a couple other errors on there that allowed 2 runs to plate and increased the Suwannee lead by 5, 6-1.
Well, that ball dropped, and then she kept it in front of her, but she couldn't find it right away.
Yeah.
Suwannee was just rounding the bases. So 2 runs come across. Kimberly May now for the plate. Sharp hit to third baseman, and she backstabs it and makes the throw across the diamond. And that's going to do it for Suwannee, but 2 runs score. It's now 6-1 Lady Dogs here on rivercountrysports.com.
Excellence in academic and clubs. Tradition, family, future. Foundations for lifelong learning. Leadership begins here. Careers start here. Curiosity meets opportunity. Building the leaders of tomorrow. Learning begins with love. 1 district, every student, every day. The Suwannee County School District, my choice for high-quality education.
The hunt is on during the Declaration of Deals sales event at Walt's Live Oak Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Go on the ultimate egg hunt for unbeatable savings on cars, Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs. Crack open big savings on select 2025 Ram 1500s with up to $12,000 off MSRP.
People ask me, how do you give such great prices? Easy. Unlike the bunny, we don't hide our deals. That's right.
Walt's Live Oak Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. These deals are Easter Bunny approved.
Suwannee Bulldog Softball here on a Friday night. Fort White and Suwannee doing battle 6-1 Suwannee as we begin the 6th inning of play. And leading off is Taryn Clyde.
A gorgeous Friday night, Wayne. This is picture perfect as far as softball weather goes.
And we got some much needed rain a little bit earlier. Now, no rain mentioned in the forecast all weekend long. So whatever your plans are, get out and get her done.
Ball high and outside to Taryn Clyde, the senior for the Fort White Lady Indians.
We say that because she's the only senior on this squad.
Exactly. Again, high and off the catcher's mitt. 2-0. In that last half inning, they were playing Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, like a lot of places have, and I'll finish this story right after this pitch.
Feel like we're at Fenway Park.
Right?
The 2-0 delivery. That's high.
So about 3 years ago, no, it's more than that. About 4 or 5 years ago, I adapted it into the baseball playlist between innings. And the first time I did it, some of the players for Fort White Baseball came over and asked me if I'd play it again. I'm like, you give me some runs and I'll play it again.
Swinging a miss. Again, swinging at 3-0.
Yep. But the Indians trailed at that point in time, and I said, you give me some runs, I'll play it again for you. They got me some runs. They tied the game, and so I played it again for them, and it stayed in the playlist ever since.
And this one is to the right fielder. It's playable, and the catch is made out there by Jaden Bell.
Yeah,
1 down. When Neil Diamond wrote that song and first recorded it, he had no idea that we become a sports anthem.
Well, how many of the songs that are sports anthems now do you think started out that way? Besides, just look at what all we use anymore.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are, automatic, like, All-Star. You would figure that's going to be a song you play, or Rock and Roll Part 2. Everybody plays that, every band in America.
Yeah.
But Sweet Caroline, I mean, you just wouldn't picture that as, but the crowd goes wild.
Layla Alvey taking a ball 1 off the outside of the plate. Layla, one of the 7th graders here on the team.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But again, we talk about the experience they're getting here at this level of play.
Mm-hmm.
And my goodness, the future looks bright.
It really does. The goal is to get to Claremont every year. The Lady Indians were able to do that back in 2022, lost in the state championship game.
Foul back to the screen.
to Jay High School was the team that they lost to.
2-1.
Then a couple years later, our football team went out and beat Jay in the playoffs, in the opening round of the playoffs.
Did Fort White stay with the FHSA in football, or they go to
Yes.
the Sunshine? No, they did.
Yes. Let me do this after this pitch. I'll tell you about that.
2-1 pitch, and to the pitcher, Gaby throws over to first base.
Watley.
2 down.
So we'll save it for the top of the next inning. How about that?
Only 2.
Oh, that was 2.
Two
Okay,
down,
I
yeah.
thought that was 3.
Tell me the football story.
All right. So Fort White did say in the FHSAA, the rural classification of football is gone for now.
It's now 1A.
It's now 1A. So we are in a district with Madison and Taylor County.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Lafayette was supposed to be there, but they went over to the SSAA. And so Coach Jackson's been working on the football schedule.
Swing and a miss.
There's a swinging.
Yeah, Brantford, they've decided to go to the SSAA. So,
And Brantford with a new head coach.
yeah, brand new coach this year. So
But yeah, so Fort White will stay with the FHSAA, play in the district, and Coach Jackson trying to get the contracts back before he releases the football schedule. He's got it done, just trying to get the ink dry on all the contracts. But it's going to be an interesting year. Santa Fe, Union, teams that I know that are on the schedule at some point besides Madison and Taylor in district play. 0-2, the count.
strikes, yeah.
Yep. Avery Balance, the batter, number 4. Young lady been playing catcher for the Indians tonight.
1-1. The count is 1-2.
7th grader.
Give you the Suwannee football schedule when we have time, probably
All right.
after this inning. That has been released for the year. And upstairs,
2-2 to Balance.
Suwannee has Madison County in the preseason game.
Yeah.
That'll be the kickoff classic. They open up at Crystal River. Then at home, they'll have Lafayette, Gainesville, Palatka, Hamilton County. First district game on the road at Wakulla. Then come back homecoming game against Zarephath Academy. They got Baker at home this year. Then on the road with Godby and the Oak and Bucket game at Columbia.
Yep, we got to go over to Baker County this year, returning the favor. They came over last year to our place.
Swing and a miss. And that's going to retire the side. Your score remains Suwannee 6-1 over Fort White here on RiverCountrySports.com.
G&W Site Services is a trusted site preparation and excavating contractor based in Live Oak, serving Suwannee and surrounding counties.
Oh, yeah.
From land clearing to site prep and grade work to excavation and ponds to driveways and culverts, material hauling, foundations. Whether you're preparing land for new construction or maybe utilities or draining solutions, give G&W a call. 386-209-4856. Licensed and insured, G&W Site Services. Online at gwsiteservicesllc.com. Your one-stop auto shop, J&W Automotive. You know, at J&W, they do paint and body work. Yeah, collision repair, paint jobs, bumper repair. They'll handle your insurance claim for you. At J&W, no job is too big or too small. They also sell vehicles, repair vehicles, retire vehicles, plus front-end alignments, AC work, computer diagnostics. They cut and program keys. They are your one-stop, all-in-one automotive shop. J&W Automotive. Highway 129 North in Live Oak. Call 364-1377. Online at jwautos.com.
Suwannee High baseball update. Still 3-0. They're now in the 6th inning. Suwannee and Santa Fe doing battle tonight over on the baseball complex.
Apparently, we're trying to do in a race with the baseball team to see who can get finished first tonight.
We're cruising along here.
We are bottom of the 6th.
We played Madison earlier this year, had a game, and that wasn't. We didn't have the quick innings. Let's just say that they're having out here.
Well, number 12.
What I will say, Wayne, is that what I'm hearing from the football side of things in Fort White is that our Fall Classic, I think it is, will be going over to Providence and Jacksonville.
All right.
Ball 1.
We played them back in 2017, 2018, I believe, somewhere around there, and went over. Very nice facility. Terry was with me at the time when we went over there to play Providence.
Ball 2.
Got 2 balls, no strikes.
And you never know about facilities. When you go on the road, it's interesting.
Yeah, well, their press box wasn't much bigger than this, but they managed to found a way to put us in there, and Actually, it was a little bit smaller than this, but they were able to get us in there and actually be in the press box that night. So
it's always a help, especially when you don't know about the weather.
right.
All right, May's going to walk on 4 straight, and so the leadoff person aboard here in the 6th.
Now batting. For the Lady Bulldogs, number 2, Shagan Bell.
So far, we have been blessed here in the baseball, softball season coverage for River Country. We've had good weather most every night.
Yeah.
So knock on wood. There's a called strike.
There's a called strike. Yeah, that's the only advantage of being in a drought is it made for good baseball weather.
Yeah, it does. We had a game the other day where we had that rain, and coach wasn't sure about the field, so
Right.
called the JV game off just to make sure that the field was in good playing condition for varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And they worked awfully hard on that field because it rained all night long, and then they were able to get that done. Here comes the courtesy runner for Suwannee.
Yep, courtesy runner coming on to the field.
It's Kirsten Lynn. Second time this game she's been used in that role. So she'll assume the position at first base for Felicity May, and now the batter will be Jaden Bell. And there's a little slow roller. That'll be foul.
Yep, kind of chopped a little bit foul on the first base line that time.
0-2 now the count. Markeisha Hunter on deck. Nobody out in the inning. Suwannee looking to pad the lead 6-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. And to the shortstop, she'll go to second base, get the lead runner.
Noblet, but the most consistent of the infielders tonight.
She has been fantastic, and that was another good play. You don't see many double plays at this level just because the bases are so close.
Right.
I mean, you might see a double play with a line drive and step on the bag, but you don't see many, infield ground balls turn into a double play.
Yeah, it's hard enough to get a single out on a softball diamond.
No doubt.
1-1.
But the great thing about it, just like on the baseball side, is that these young ladies have been playing softball about as long as the baseball players have been playing baseball. So
called strike there, caught the corner, 1-1. Yeah, starting out then in rec league, then ended up playing travel ball, and then middle school, JV, and varsity. Unless you're Fort White and short on players, then you just call up your youngsters.
Exactly.
So it is nice that you guys are now establishing and Fort White has the middle school and the JV.
Yeah.
They played before this game. So nice to see the numbers up and able to, just get that experience.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what builds great programs is having that experience factor. And there's a one hopper to the center fielder, Clyde, that will get the runner on base. So 2 on, first and second.
Nice hit there by Markeisha as first and second, as you mentioned. Now, Emmeline Watson will come up.
Because this was actually the first year in a long time that we had a middle school baseball program. For the last couple of years, it has been strictly varsity baseball, but we had a middle school program this year. Matt Huseman coached it, and they had some growing pains also, much like the varsity has had. But, that's the thing. Get it established, start building it, and so that way it can help feed into the varsity program as those kids grow up.
To the shortstop, and that was going to get by or into left field. Suwannee will send the runner, and run number 7 comes across. The throw doesn't go into cutoff man, comes to home plate, and that allows Hunter to get to third base.
That doesn't count as an announcer jinx on Noblet that I did to her, does it?
That was a pretty sharp hit ball. She was looking for the hop, and it just scooted underneath her glove.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is you're letting me off the hook for the announcer jinx. Cool. I like it.
Well, as far as I can tell, you can't really affect things too much. You can just talk about them. I have been blamed for my share, although I'm just announcing. Nothing I can do about what goes out on the field.
Oh.
Here's Lee with her second plate appearance. She showed bunt, but then pulled back. Ball 1 to her. Second and third here with 1 down. Suwannee can really break things open here if they can plate these runs. And that one taken outside for a ball.
The count is 2-0.
Starling on deck. That's an interesting spelling, isn't it, for Kennedy?
It really is. I noticed that earlier.
Foul ball.
And that's a foul ball, 2-1.
2-1.
Counting is 2-1.
Tried to bunt that one, didn't get it down, though.
They'll say she will not be finding souvenir keychains with her name on it with the way that it's spelled and everything.
She'll have to special order.
Exactly. Buy a cricket and make her own.
And there's a offering, and she'll miss that one. 2 strikes.
Counting 2-2.
6 freshmen.
On the varsity team.
Swan.
Let's go.
6 freshmen just got the word for Suwannee. So a very young team here as well.
Heads up, Lady Indian.
And that one fouled away. And I wish that was something. They don't put that on the roster, so it didn't give a year and weren't able to pick that. But I appreciate the information. So 6 freshmen for Suwannee. So the future bright for both Fort White and for Suwannee. And back to the pitcher. She'll go to home plate.
Gets the out.
Makes the catch and the tag.
That's the run.
You know, and she wasn't forced at third. I'm surprised with the hit back to the pitcher that she would just take off like that.
Yeah.
On our Lady Bulldog.
But Fort White takes advantage.
That was a case where probably they were anticipating Grace Ann to go to first for the out, but Grace Ann kept her wits about her, threw it back home, and Balance was able to get the tag and the out to keep the run from coming across.
No surprises. She didn't, just kind of fake it. And this one to the shortstop, backhands it. Can she make the throw? That's a tough play. That's a base hit.
That is a base hit, but what a throw by Noblet.
I mean, that was a great effort. There's no way she's going to throw him out that deep in the hole.
Yeah.
Across run number 8.
Because she was about a foot off the ground when she made the catch, and the runner all the way down to the bag, but still, it was a lot closer than it probably should have been.
Does get a run home, and we're going to get a courtesy runner. Here's Mackenzie Cherry. Will take over at first base.
And now batting for our Lady Bulldogs and back to the top of our order.
So we got first and second, 2 down. 2 runners across this inning. So it's 8-1. And here's top of the order, Addison Peterson. Called strike.
Yeah, Grace Ann with a nice pitch that time.
Peterson hitting left-handed this at bat.
Yeah, I heard him talking up here in the booth about her being a switch hitter.
Yep, tried to slap at that one.
0-2.
0-2. Back when I was younger, I could hit from both sides. Could only hit with power, though, as a right-hander.
Okay.
But could make good contact left-handed. Coach never let me do that in an actual game, but it's fun in practice.
Oh. That's where all the fun is.
Well, back when I was a kid, we played baseball all the time, just in the neighborhood,
Oh, yeah.
Pick up games. And I mean, if we didn't have enough, right field's closed, or pitcher's not as good as first. Those fun rules. Chopper to second base. Fields it cleanly. The throw is in time, and that's going to do it for Suwannee. But they scratched 2 runs across. We go to the 7th with Suwannee leading 8-1 here on RiverCountrySports.com.
Looking for a quality building that will last, that will add value to your property, that will weather the storm? Look for Elite. Elite Outdoor Buildings has exactly what you're looking for. Reliable, durable, portable, and steel buildings, from carports to barns, bardominiums, and more. Commercial and residential, your premier destination for quality steel structures in the Sunshine State is, without a doubt, at Elite Outdoor Buildings. Visit US 19 in Chiefland and by Lowe's in Lake City and Live Oak. Online at eliteoutdoorbuildings.com.
Your trusted local real estate partner in Live Oak, Grantham Realty, for all your real estate needs in North Florida. With over 20 years experience, they're more than just a real estate agency. They're your friends and neighbors, dedicated to serving this vibrant community. So whether you're buying or selling, you can trust Grantham Realty to provide solutions that fit your needs. At Grantham Realty, you'll be treated as a friend, not a number. Contact their friendly team today. Grantham Realty, 386-362-7080.
We appreciate Grantham Realty for sponsoring the regular season. Not going to have them for the playoffs, but we certainly appreciate their support during the regular season for Suwannee baseball and softball. Just found out the freshman for Suwannee, Timberly May, along with Jaden Bell, Markeisha Hunter, Miley Kinsey, Leighton Starling, and Kirsten Lynn. All freshmen for the Suwannee Lady Dog team.
Avery Robinson leading off for the Lady Indians. The last chance for them to keep this game alive and get some runs across. 7-run deficit, though, is awful daunting, Wayne.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but anything's possible.
Yep.
So Robinson to lead off here in the 7th inning. Grace Watley, her first pitch, that's into center field. That'll be a base hit. Good way to get things started if you want to make a comeback.
Good job, Avery.
Solid base hit there.
Miley Davis up next, the sophomore.
Davis, the left fielder for Fort White.
Yep.
Stands in there with the leadoff runner aboard. Runner at first, nobody down here in the 7th. And that's up high, gets by the catcher, and will allow the runner to go to second base.
Yeah. Good base running by Avery Robinson.
Wild pitch gets her to second base, and Davis ahead in the count. Suwannee just needs 3 outs to secure this victory. That's up high.
Ball outside. 2-0 the count.
The count is 2-0.
Robinson on second for the Lady Indians.
In scoring position. Want to be careful on the base pass, though. Don't want to get yourself thrown out.
No.
We're at 1.
2-1 count now on Davis.
1.
Top of the order waits on deck.
Yeah, she took a good swing at that one that time, Wayne.
Watley rocks and deals. And that's in there for a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, just off the corner that time.
Good pitch. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and popped right side, and that's going to be just out of the outstretched arm of Felicity May. Thought she could get over there, but it's out of play.
Nope, took a bounce off the visiting dugout and out of play.
Gave it a good chase, though.
Yes, she did.
Not a lot of room here in foul territory.
Not at all. No, you take a couple steps outside the baseline, and there's the dugout. On both
2-2.
baselines.
And again, same thing. And again, it's going to hit the dugout.
That visitor's dugout taking a beating.
Deja vu.
All over again.
So the count stays 2-2 to Miley Davis.
We keep fouling it into the dugout. It's going to keep on. It's going to need to take some bases.
Going to need some more softballs. And this time in field, it gets by the pitcher into center field, and they're going to hold the runner at third base.
That was a beautiful hit, Wayne. The way that it was hit, it eluded the pitcher initially, it eluded the second baseman, and into center field, and that puts runners at the corners first and third.
And Coach Robinson did a pretty smart job. You're not playing for one run here,
right.
So he holds the runner instead of taking that chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good sound coaching right there.
Because again, this is top of the order, so this is top of the order coming up. So.
Well, I mean, why chance that?
Yeah.
So Grace Endurance now at the plate. Let's see if they send the runner here. And they're going to be able to advance the runner. In fact, they're going to try to score, and they're going to get there.
6-run lead now, 8-2 after the run scores for the Lady Indians.
Pass ball. It'll be the second run for Fort White. Narrows things just a bit. Still nobody down here in the inning, and still a runner in scoring position as Durance at the plate.
I know early in the season, Fort White had a couple games where they came back from deficit. So let's see if they can kind of put some of this together and make this interesting.
Swing and a miss there. That's kind of one of those running toward first base and trying to slap at it. They do that a lot in softball. You'll see that because the bases, as we keep mentioning, are so close.
Yeah.
You can put that in play, and you can probably run it out. And that one's going to be just off the plate.
Yeah.
And we do have bullpen action down there for Suwannee. And this one's going to be playable. It's going to drop in front of the second baseman, though, and not going to be a play. Nothing she could do about that. A little infield hit.
Want to mention tonight, as we have the next batter coming to the plate. That's going to be number 2, Reese Knoblauch, the 8th grader. We do have a Lady Indian out injured that's normally in the lineup, Wayne. Jermani Bird out. She tweaked a knee injury that she had last season coming off the basketball court. So Jermani not out playing, but she told me before the game that she'll be back next week. Just kind of some cartilage and everything she had to sit out tonight. So she's in the dugout cheering her team on as Durrance advances to second base.
Yeah, catcher indifference there. So allow her to have second base, second and third. Nobody down here, top of the 7th inning.
Indians trying to rally.
And probably best to keep her out. I mean, why take the chance of getting her injured here in a regular season game?
That's the thing. You know, she had that injury, and there's another wild pitch that time, Wayne.
Be a play at the plate, and she gets underneath the tag, and she's in there safely.
That'll push across run number 3.
Miley Davis in for the 3rd run. 8-3 now the score. Suwannee in the top of the 7th inning.
Suwannee just needs outs now.
The count is 2-0.
Nobody out.
But Fort White not obliging them right now.
Baseball team scratched another run across. Now 4-0. They enter the top of the 7th inning.
Okay.
And Suwannee leading Santa Fe on the baseball diamond. Knoblet will step out of the box there, regroup. Now she's back in. Gracie Watley trying to close things out here. That's high.
Ball 3.
But no, just getting back to Jermani. Jermani is a young lady I've gotten to know from her time on the Fort White Lady Indian basketball team. And when she went out, she was like, she has been the glue on the basketball court, not a starter, but when she gets out there, she's kind of like that court general that you need, an extension of the coaching staff. And so it was good having Jermani for a full basketball season this year. So I was a little worried when I saw her in her shorts and not in her softball uniform. But she assured me she'd be back next week. So
multi-sport star.
Mm-hmm. And she's also a trainer for the football team. So she's one of the Water Girls.
And there's ball 4, free pass. Knoblet at first base, 1st and 3rd. And she's going to take second base without being challenged. She just kept running.
Yeah, she did. Smart coaching by the coaching staff of Fort White. Coach Robinson, Coach Jessica on the first base side. She said, keep on going. They're not paying attention to you.
Yeah. Personally, for Suwannee, I would have tried to get the out. I mean, even giving out the run. You want outs right now. You got a comfortable lead, but it's becoming uncomfortable. If this one will fall, and it
does. And it's bobbled in the outfield by the left fielder that time as Suwannee and plays another run. So the score is cut in half, 8-4 now.
For the Lady Indians.
Runners at 1st and 3rd.
Peyton Griffiths coming to the plate for the Lady Indians.
Suwannee had a nice, comfortable lead. It's now not as comfortable. It's now 8-4 with 2 runners still aboard, nobody out. And Peyton Griffiths at the plate. And again, they'll give up second. Now they get the runner caught off third base and a rundown, and that's going to be a running mistake by Fort White. Yeah, they'll throw to third, and that one's not in time. The trail runner makes it around from 1st to 3rd.
Yeah. Got a little greedy there, I think.
That's starting the game. Route number 1 on the Lady Indians.
Yeah, they needed that out, but I'm a little surprised that she was off the bag that far.
Me too.
And she went to second and just caught her off of third base, but 1 down in the inning, and now Griffith's still at the plate. Up high.
Ball 2.
That's the one thing we talked about. You don't want to do is just be careful with the base running.
Right.
Don't run yourself out of the inning. But so far at the plate offensively, Fort White's getting it done this inning.
Foul ball into the net behind the plate.
Foul ball. Right one.
Again, Griffiths coming into tonight's game, a .325 batter. 12 runs, 13 hits, 7 RBI. I know I've said this about a lot of our girls tonight. She would love to add to that total.
And there's a pop fly. Center fielder calls for it, makes the catch, 2 down, throw to the plate, and it's not in time. So a sac fly.
8-5.
RBI for Griffiths, second out in the inning. But Fort White has made this interesting with 4 across this inning. And so your score is now 8-4. They just scratched another run. It should be 8-5.
8-5.
Yeah, they just hadn't changed the board. And
okay.
They got it. They're saying she didn't tag up, so they get the call.
So that's the ball game, Wayne.
Do it. Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah.
What a way to go out. Fort White was rallying. The base running mistakes ended up costing them there. Hopefully they'll learn from that. They can come back and watch the tape here on River Country.
Exactly.
Your final score will be Suwannee 8 and Fort White 4. Back to talk about it after this on rivercountrysports.com.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Van Carpet One. For 78 years, we've been your local family-owned and operated floor covering store, and we can't wait to serve you. Let's go check out some of the stuff we've got and say hey to the guys.
Hey guys, this is Michael Van here at Van Carpet One. Wanted to show you our huge display of carpet. Got about 1,000 rolls for you that we can order. We also keep about 100 in stock that are on clearance, so please come down and give us a visit. We appreciate it.
Come in and see the largest tile collection in North Florida. Van Carpet One has every tile you could possibly imagine. If you can't find it here, they don't make it. Guys, take a look at this. This is just some of our options in waterproof vinyl plank, where we have the largest selection anywhere around here, including over 70 pallets in stock, ready to go right now. Come in and see our fantastic selection of elegant hardwood too, followed up by fantastic service that you expect from a company like Van Carpet One.
Come on in and see us.
We can't wait to serve you. And that's a boom shakalak.
And back here at the ballpark, congratulations. Suwannee gets the win tonight. 8-4 is your final score. Suwannee with their 7th win of the year. They're 7-11, and Fort White falls to 5-10. And taking a look at what's left in the regular season, a couple of games for Fort White.
Yeah, looking at our schedule next week, we got some big games. Actually got a 4-game schedule next week. On the 13th, we are at Eastside in Gainesville. Then on the road to play Madison County. Then again, back to Gainesville on the 15th to play Gainesville High School. And then on the 16th, the Lady Indians come home to play Keystone Heights in what will be the final home game of the regular season, Wayne.
And that was the final home game for Suwannee in the regular season. They got a couple of long road trips. They go to Franklin County. That's in East Point on the 17th. And that'll be a 6 o'clock start. And then they're at Tallahassee Childs on the 21st to round out the regular schedule.
Yeah. And just want to mention, talking to Coach Robinson, Coach Josh Robinson before the game, the Suwannee coaches had asked about, because this game was suspended earlier in the year over in Fort White due to weather. Right. They had talked about possibly playing a doubleheader, but Fort White was like, with our pitching situation, we're just not equipped to do that this year. And so that game will just go as not completed. And the result of this game, an 8-4 win. Fort White tried to make it interesting in the 7th, but just couldn't get it done.
And they were able to play the JV game before this game, so that allowed the junior varsity to play without the doubleheader. But pretty interesting ball game. It was very competitive, back and forth. Fort White made it interesting there at the end, but we knew coming in this was going to be a battle.
Yeah, we really did. We knew it was two well-matched teams, two very young teams, which has proven. And this could be a rivalry for some time to come over the next several years, Wayne, if both teams stay intact.
No doubt about it. And we had a rivalry in some other sports, and it's good competition. We're just too close not to be a rival.
Yep, I believe we have the Suwannee coach up here.
Oh, okay.
River Country Sports.
Sneaking up behind me. I thought I was looking at him out there talking to his team, but there you go. Let's get Coach Gaby on the air here. Coach, congratulations. You got the victory here tonight, 8-4. That was interesting.
Yeah, much needed win tonight.
No doubt about it. How was it having Gracie back out there on the hill?
It's good. She pitched a little bit last night. A little sore this morning. Just trying to get back in the groove. And we told her, hey, we got to start at some point, whether it's 1 inning, 2 inning, 3 inning, much as we can do, and we'll just do a little more every time. And tonight, she texted me before we played today, actually before they got out of school. But messaged me and told me that she wanted to try it again tonight. So we went with her, and then about 4th inning, she told me she wanted the whole game. So
yeah, at points it looked like she might be getting tired, but she just battled through it, man. I mean, you got to give her credit. That was a great effort.
Yeah, she's still dealing with a lot of pain, but hat off to her pushing through and wanting the ball. It's her senior year. She don't want to miss it. It means the world to her. So
no doubt about it. For those that don't know, she got into a car accident right before the season started, and And I know she did not want to see that happen her senior year, but she has toughed it out. And getting her back at this time of the year, I mean, it's perfect if she can get back in form as you get into postseason play.
Right. We've played a lot of good games this year. We got a lot of young players, made some silly mistakes that we've been trying to clean up. As long as you're playing your best ball by the end of the season, that's what matters.
And you do have a young team, a lot of freshmen on this team, but you're getting a lot of experience out there.
Yeah, at one point during the year, I think we started 5 freshmen on the field. Due to injuries, this has been a injury year. It seems like every game we got people out. So missing Bree tonight.
So that was the final home game. You go on the road. I'm looking at the Max Prep schedule. I may not have the whole picture.
Franklin County was supposed to be away on Friday.
Yeah.
They had to reschedule the first game. So instead of playing away next Friday, we will have a doubleheader at 4:30 and 6:30 here, which will also be senior night that we'll do before the second game.
All right. I'm glad you told us that, and the folks know to come on out here and support them on because I thought that was an away game according to the schedule, but going to be a doubleheader at home.
Yes, sir. We'll put that up on our Facebook page.
All right, and you still got Childs. That'll be a trip to Tallahassee, right?
Yeah, we got Childs away. Childs is tough. We're gonna give it our best shot. We're gonna go after him with all we got.
What about the district tournament? Have you looked that far ahead as to where you might be seated or where that might be played?
Right now, I believe we're second seed in the district. Wakulla being first. I believe Godby being third, and Gadsden being fourth. So hopes are to host first round of a district game here. We do satellite in our district. So hopefully what it looks like right now is we'll probably host Godby here for the first round.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations. We had a bunch of fun. Appreciate the hospitality.
Yes, sir.
Having us out. All right. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, going to take a quick time out. Back after this on rivercountrysports.com.
Don't miss the 32nd annual Wellborn Blueberry Festival, Saturday, June 6th from 7:30 to 3:30 at Andrews Square in downtown Wellborn, FLA. Start with a delicious blueberry pancake breakfast, served from 7:30 to 10:30. This family-friendly event features over 100 vendors, plus live music, a car show, a kids' corner, complete with a petting zoo and pony rides, plus a parade. And did I mention blueberries? The annual Wellborn Blueberry Festival, Saturday, June 6th. For more, visit their Facebook page or their website at wellborn.cc.
Do you want to help veterans? Vet Team 6 is a nonprofit organization that helps North Florida and South Georgia veterans with all types of projects, things that other organizations may not be able to do, like mowing lawns, removing debris, repairing driveways. We even help one veteran bury his donkey. You can help Vet Team 6 by volunteering your time or by making a monetary donation to the cause. For more information, check out our Facebook page at VETTEAMSIX. Vet Team 6, 6 branches, 1 mission.
All right, back here to wrap up the broadcast. Again, Shane, thank you very much for coming over here and supporting this softball broadcast in River Country. You are the voice of the Fort White Indians. I know you do a lot of PA work and do some radio work with baseball and football and everything. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, first time on a live stream?
Yeah, it is. It is the first time. I'm making my live YouTube debut. So how about that?
Just wanted to point that out. I feel pretty privileged.
But no, it's been a lot of fun. I want to thank Tom Daniels for having karaoke tonight so I could come in and pinch hit for him and everything. But Wayne, I appreciate you texting me a couple weeks ago asking if I could come over and do it. And I'm glad the schedule allowed it where I could come over and watch my Lady Indians, even though it was in a defeat, lose 8-4 here at Suwannee. But still, I'm very excited to see what Coaches Robinson have in store coming up with such a young ball club.
No doubt about it. They played tough tonight, and I want to wish Fort White good luck the rest of the way. That's going to wrap up tonight's broadcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. By the way, if you'd like to comment, if you have any input, we'd love to hear from you. rivercountrysports@gmail.com or hit us up on our Facebook page or on the website. We'd love to hear some feedback from the folks. Tonight's broadcast was brought to you in part by the Waltz Automotive Group, by G&W Site Prep, by Grantham Realty, by Elite Outdoor Buildings, by J&W Automotive, by Wellborn's Blueberry Festival coming up the first Saturday in June, by Van Carpet One, by Farm Bureau Insurance, and by the Suwannee County School District. Our camera operators tonight were Anthony Woolsey, Dusty Morgan, Sawyer Brooks, and Him Patel. Tammy Neal is our streaming producer and executive producer. For Shane Morgan, I'm Wayne Luttrell. That's going to wrap it up